welcome to the Tarot Cottage. This is my pick a card channel, so I appreciate you being here. Thank you so much for your presence here. All of my returning subscribers, you guys are amazing. Thank you for your friendship. And everybody new coming to the channel this month, everybody new stumbling across the channel this morning or this evening or whenever you are finding yourself here, we welcome you. Please join us, subscribe to the channel. Drop your comment below because I do offer a chance for my subscribers to win a free reading from me. So be sure to drop your comment below any of my readings this month for your chance to win. And I will notify you via the comment section if you are chosen the winner, and I will give you clear indications on how to reach out to me and get the ball rolling. So please do not get scammed by anybody pretending to be the Tarot Cottage who may be sending unsolicited DMs here on Instagram or here on YouTube or on Instagram. But for today's pick a card topic, today it's all about sort of a no contact situation, and this could be a long-standing no contact situation or maybe a short-lived one. But we're asking, how does this person currently feel, and are they going to reach out to you? We're going to try to find a timeline for you as well if they are going to reach out. So pull up a chair, get cozy. We're all going to have a little chat today because we're all friends when we gather around my table. And I do have 3 piles to choose from today. Pile number 1 with the yellow flower and the Judgment card. Pile number 2 with the pink flower and the King of Cups. And pile number 3 with the orange flower and the Chariot. And this is the Disney's Villains Tarot I'm using for you today. So whichever pile or piles are calling out to you, there may be messages waiting, and my timestamps are listed below. I'm going to jump into pile 1. Again, in this no contact situation that you find yourself in, how are they feeling, and are they going to reach out to you? Pile 1. Hello, pile 1. You were drawn to the yellow flower and to the Judgment card, and this is your reading. Is the person going to reach out to you that is on your mind right now, and how are they truly feeling about you in the present moment? If we look here at the Judgment card, this is from Alice in Wonderland, and we can see the Queen of Hearts, and she's got the white rabbit here, and she's kind of holding him in a bit of a chokehold. So there's this feeling about being late for something. So this person's been keeping you waiting. It may not be a long-standing disconnect that you're experiencing right now, but even if it is, you've been kept waiting. And so it's really kind of difficult to hold on to positive thinking or positive thoughts about reunions when I feel like you're being flanked by disappointment. It's like, and maybe they've disappointed you regularly or multiple times in the past as well. Because I feel like you're really holding on, trying to hold on to your feelings, trying to hold on to a positive aspect, even though this person's keeping you waiting. I also get this impression of being kind of intimidated by the Queen of Hearts here as well. So it's like appearances could be deceiving, where you are looking at the situation from one perspective. This person may be just kind of intimidated by how they feel. It may be causing some delay in their reaction time, because I feel like they're almost afraid that the time frame that has passed between the two of you and not connecting, that the longer they go, the less empowered they feel. It's like they're not confident with themselves. So let's start with their current feelings. How are they currently feeling at this moment about pile number 1? How do they currently feel about pile number 1? 9 of Wands. Eight of Cups and the 2 of Swords. The 10 of Cups. And this is the Radiant Tarot that I'm using for you. We have the 3 of Wands. We have the Page of Swords. We also have the 8 of Pentacles, and we have the 4 of Swords. Now, there is this feeling about sweet results that await if they can sacrifice, if they can move through this cycle. They may have intentions towards more here, but this feels like somebody who thought it would be easy to kind of disconnect and thought it would be easy to walk away. They didn't anticipate some of the energy that they had towards you or some of the feelings that they had towards you to maintain or to hold on, but they're holding on. I do feel like this person kind of has already kind of figured out the error of their ways. They already want to come back towards you in some way, and they're watching you currently. Maybe they're trying to gather some information with what you're posting online. They're trying to see what sort of mood you're in because they are intimidated about what is going to be their reception ultimately. And they're kind of afraid of that because they know they've put themselves in this position. And so even being passive towards you in this moment, it's like an act of self-protection. They're holding back. And it takes a lot of strength perhaps to hold back but they've seen the light. It's like there's this full spectrum with the Ten of Cups that they have been afforded to in the disconnect. But now they know they need to seek out more information from you, and that expansion, they know they have to, unless you're, and if they don't, I'm sorry, they're going to walk away, or you're going to walk away from the situation. So they're really concerned about that. But they're still kind of defensive about having to do the work. And this is a way for them to procrastinate. And they're telling themselves, like, I'm busy with work, or I'm, you know, and they're highlighting work. They're like, I'm busy with work. That's why I haven't reached out. Like, they're giving themselves reasons and excuses. It's like, oh, the time just is slipping away from me. It's like one day bleeds into the next day, and before you know it's the end of the day and I haven't reached out. So they're just making these excuses in this moment, but it's actually an act of self-preservation. They thought it would feel like out of sight, out of mind. That's what they thought. That is not how it actually has happened. And instead of finding freedom, perhaps in walking away from you, they found frustrating holds. And now there's a lot of regret for having walked away. And they have a choice. They have come to a crossroads, and they're inching towards it in this moment. They've come to this choice or this crossroads where they have to find solutions, or they have to surrender to their decision. And that's where they're struggling in the present. They're struggling to bring their epiphany to light, or to life, so to speak. Because they're focusing on what they've kind of surrendered, and like they didn't offer you any support or any explanation. Maybe they even ghosted you, for someone watching. And so because of that, they are worried that you're not going to be interested in solutions. But they're just focused on what they've lost instead of focusing on what they can do to make amends. I feel like there's a lot of regret associated with walking away in the first place. We have the High Priestess, and I almost feel like someone said, I told you so. Like they knew this was going to happen. They knew that this would, and you perhaps are feeling smug in your own position as well, because like, I knew they would regret it. I knew they would regret it. And even from their own higher self perspective, they're kicking themselves hard. Because I keep hearing, I told you so. And in this present moment, they are sitting upon this information that they know is true about you and about the potential. They know they were wrong for walking away, or for ghosting, or for making the separation too long-standing, perhaps. But now they have to act upon that epiphany. And that's where it gets difficult, because they're afraid to take a stand. They're afraid to look bad. They're afraid to take their masks off. And they have to do all of those things in order to achieve something here. So they're a little bit defensive about some of this effort that they feel like they're going to have to put in. They're on guard. But they are sort of dealing with the reality and the bed that they've made for themselves in relation to you. We have the Three of Swords. We have the Eight of Swords. And they've walked themselves right here into this position, and they know it. They're like kicking themselves. They're like, I know that I did this to myself. Maybe I deserve to stay away. But even them saying, I deserve to stay away from you, I deserve everything that I get, is them placating themselves and giving themselves permission to procrastinate upon doing what they have to do to make amends here. We have the Two of Swords, and we have the Page of Pentacles with the Eight of Wands. And right now, even their higher self is urging them to bring their truth to the surface. Like their higher self is saying, you know you did wrong here. Only you can create solutions in this situation. And the way that you create it is by reaching out and communicating with them in some way. But that big blue mountain, that big mountain of fear, is intercepting some of the pressure that their higher self is trying to apply to them. And they're afraid to face you. Because facing you means facing their emotions. And it means that they're kind of in the hot seat, and they're going to have to open up that heart space and be really vulnerable. And this Queen of Cups, sometimes she takes no prisoners, you know, she has a hot temper. So they could be worried a little bit about your temper as well. How are they currently feeling about pile number one, please? Forge, don't follow. Forge, don't follow. Pave a new path and be the leader that you wish you had. And that's what they're feeling. They know that they need to forge. They know that they shouldn't be passive and wait for you to make the first contact, because that's not fair in this situation. But this could also be a directive from your guides and angels about this person's capacity and ability to actually bring their ideas into life. And we're going to get some more information when we figure out if they're going to reach out to you or not. We have here, your life is a canvas. They're taking creative accountability. They know that they've done this. And we have courageous peony, multifaceted, unique nature, and let yourself be seen. And that's what they can look forward to. If they can tap into that vulnerability, they can look forward to expansion, not only perhaps in this connection with you and solutions towards relationships, but also they can look forward to a spiritual ascension, overcoming some of the triggers that they have to gain mastery over, including this fear of stepping outside my comfort zone to take action, to make contact the way that I know I feel I should, or I'm being directed to do so. What is this person's current feelings, please, towards pile number 1? We have I love you coming in. Lots of regret here. I know more than you think, and I feel like they know more than you realize, because they're watching you at this moment. I reminisce a lot about the time spent with you, and I'm protecting that connection. They protect a certain amount of nostalgia surrounding you. They're jealous and sort of possessive over you in some respect as well, but the follow through isn't there as much as we want it to be. I don't know how to express my love to you, so I just keep it inside. And these sexual thoughts that run through my mind. And sometimes when Spirit sees this person really digging their heels in, that's where they will implement some of that force. Where'd it go? 8 of Wands. They'll start to implement this desire towards you to help light a fire underneath them. But the thought of explaining and apologizing scares me. I do not want to see the pain that I've caused in your eyes, because they do have feelings for you. Like, they do have love associated with this connection, and they don't want to be the one who caused you those feelings of hurt. How do they truly feel for pile number 1, please? Telepathic. Close soul connections are harmoniously synchronized, creating moments of telepathy. So even if there's no contact here, they feel like they're having conversations with you in their head. It's like they've gone over what they want to say and what they think your response will be. It's like they're trying to troubleshoot what their expectations will be and learn. Let love show you how to learn from each other. And that's what this aspect has taught them. They've had powerful lessons waiting for them in this in-between and in this disconnect. They thought it would be much easier to walk away than it actually was. Now, for some watching, this person could perhaps have moved into other dynamics. This is a secondary message for somebody. They could be unavailable to make commitments in the present moment. But let's take a look at the future of this connection. Are they going to reach out to pile number 1? Are they going to make contact? For pile number 1, please. 4 of Wands. And there's this aspect about being prompted and triggered by you, and how both of your feelings, your experiences, maybe even your practical realms are running on some type of parallel right now. We have the Queen of Swords. We have the Hanged Man. Are they going to reach out to pile number 1, please? The Justice. We have the Temperance. We have the King of Wands here, and we have the 9 of Wands. I do feel like the Divine Masculine is going to be holding back for at least a frustrating amount of time for the Divine Feminine to get really angry or really upset. They are highlighting the Divine Feminine being triggered here. So you may feel triggered or prompted to reach out yourself. They're showing me Foxy Cleopatra. They're talking about you being a whole lot of woman. And so if you can tap into this Justice, there's a fire lit behind her. Because ultimately, if you're delaying for this person to act, you may be delayed, unfortunately. And you'll have to find joy within the journey that you've been given. but there's nothing stopping you from being prompted to act or to clarify, or in the very least, if you don't want to do any of that, the Queen of Swords is not afraid to cut the head off, off with their head. We were drawn to the Judgment in the first place. So those are the options that Spirit sees coming in for you in the present moment. Not that there's not the potential for this person to change their mind or to take action, but right now they're operating from this perspective, and it's really hard for us to take action when we can't decide what to do. So they are indicating here that it's not naturally going to seamlessly move into reconnection here. The Divine Feminine may take action, but these messages, these major arcanic themes that your guides are asking you to reflect upon after this reading, they may be the caveat for change for you. You may decide to release, or you may decide to reach out to them. Let's get a charm bowl, please. Oops, for pile number 1. In the bowl today, we have the Queen of Wands, fire energy, Leo, Aries, Sagittarius. We also have a lot of air energy here, so Aquarius, Libra, Gemini. We have the Knight of Swords reversed, we have the Five of Cups, and we have the Queen of Wands. So I just keep hearing that old familiar feeling. So if you've been in disconnect for quite a while from this person, you may experience more of that. The Knight of Swords right now, it's like somebody who's intentionally holding back. Intentionally holding back. There's also this frustration about what's going to be waiting for me if I do reach out. It's like, is somebody going to be intentionally cruel to me? There's a lot of regret over something that was said or did in the past of this connection. But the regret is holding our focus, and instead of allowing solutions to filter in, it's maintaining the sense of stagnation. So the Divine Feminine may be kept waiting. I also heard sharp tongue. So it's like there's a feeling about the Divine Feminine having a sharp tongue. We have the letter C. We have the morning dress. Somebody who thinks really highly of you, but the morning dress of the Divine Feminine. We do have Pisces. And we have the star, I say the star of Aquarius, but we have the strawberry. I always think about the star of Aquarius for some reason. We do have a key, so somebody who's feeling held back. There's the sea star, and there's your little rabbit. Actually, you got the rabbit from Alice in Wonderland, and you were drawn to the Judgment that has the rabbit from Alice in Wonderland. Somebody who thinks they're too late to proclaim something to you, even though they don't realize that luck is on their side, and maybe the Divine Feminine doesn't realize that luck is on their side as well. So somebody who's making this assumption that they're too late, but perhaps they aren't too late. All right, pile 1, that's what I have for you today. I hope it resonates with you. Drop your comment below for a chance to win a reading with me. You can also check out my link for Etsy for personal reading if you feel called to, and that link is below as well. And I hope that you come back here and visit me at the Tarot Cottage, and I hope that you have a beautiful day. Hello, pile number 2. You were drawn to the pink flower or to the King of Cups, and this is your reading. How does the person on your mind currently feel in no contact, and are they going to reach out to you? Now, the King of Cups here could be a Pisces, Cancer, or Scorpio, and you can see that it looks like the pirate from Hook or from Peter Pan. And so you can also see that he's got a plan. He's got X marks the spot, but there's also this hook hand. And I think about the fear of loss when I think about missing a hand or losing a hand. And timing is an issue because in that movie, he kept hearing the crocodile and he kept hearing the tick-tock of time. And when I think of a crocodile, I think about knowing when to take action and knowing when to stay submerged under the water. It's like a timing game, but they're afraid of missing the right timing. They're afraid of losing you, and they could be making plans here towards their goals towards you. There's also a lot of love, deep love and affection associated here with the King of Cups. He oftentimes will remind me a lot of the Queen of Cups, where he puts a lid on his love. Also a very creative energy. And behind him is that alligator. How are they currently feeling, please, towards pile number 2? We have the Star. And they're showing me the ship because this Captain Hook was, the captain of the ship, and how they would use the stars as constellation to keep themselves on track. And so even in the disconnect, you've been a powerful influence on this person. It's like stargazing. They could even be watching you. Ace of Pentacles, Seven of Cups. And already I feel like literally it's like I just heard giving birth to new creative ideas. They're showing me the chameleon and all these baby chameleons underneath. We have the sun coming out for you. And now they're showing me, because of the chameleon, because of the sun, they're showing me that Tangled song, or they're playing it in my mind, where it says, "At last I've seen the light." So they've had time to mull it over. This feeling that they have for you, this fantasy that they have about you, the confusion that they have, because they do feel confused about why these feelings are so intense. You have the Queen of Cups, and they don't know how you feel. I feel like the Divine Feminine in this case is completely matched here to the Divine Masculine. The two of you are perfectly aligned with your feelings for one another, but you're suppressing it, and it's been a while since you've been able to bring that to the surface, and they're suppressing it too. We do have the Ten of Wands, and we have the Five of Pentacles, but this person feels like the separation is the weight on their shoulders, and they're trying to be brave about it, like they're trying to not let it affect them that much, but it is the weight. The uncertainty about what you're experiencing, the uncertainty about how you're feeling, is the weight and the burden upon them right now. And they keep highlighting the chameleon because they keep having to wear these masks, and they keep having to change the colors of how they feel based on their environment. So this could mean that there are obstacles in the way that inhibit growth in this present moment. But there's also this feeling about you being convinced that you're alone in this separation, and them being convinced that they're alone in this separation, when the exact opposite is completely true. There's the Lovers. It's a very shared experience. And there's the Queen of Wands. I think that this person spends too much time thinking about you. It's so much time that it makes them distracted from the rest of their realm, or from their responsibilities at times. And you'll even notice with the Seven of Wands here that they're holding on to this parchment paper. They're holding on to a map of some kind, and this other person is pointing at a new island. And so they may be on one island and they're pointing at a brand new island over there. They may have built something for themselves. They may have created something for themselves in this in between, but all that's done for them is solidified the truth of how they feel about you. I'm also getting a sense of fatherhood coming from this person, so please take that as it resonates to your situation. That may not resonate with everyone. We have very strong Cancer energy, Aquarius, Leo, Gemini. There's the Seven of Swords. And when they delay activating their plan towards you, they do so by telling themselves that they're crazy, or that you don't feel the same way, but they're not being honest with themselves. They're afraid of the Great Divide. We have the Hierophant. With the Moon, the Sun and the Moon. And we have the Hanged Man. We have the Temperance on the back of the deck, and we have the Knight of Swords coming out as well. This person often dreams about you as well, pal, too. For some, and this is not going to be for everyone, there could be commitment cycles here that are present, that are getting in the way of opportunity in the present moment. But the Hierophant is also talking about the two of you coming to this crossroads, even with the current opportunity in the present, because there's always opportunity in the present to create change to our situation. But there's also secrecy involved on both sides, and hesitation, and not letting peace through. And we get so wrapped up in the fear of the unknown that we don't realize or acknowledge that the unknown holds all possibilities of growth as well. It doesn't just hold the negative, it holds everything possible in the vortex of abundance as well. I feel like this person has sort of surrendered to their feelings for you. It's like they're not fighting against them. And I feel a strong mirrored energy towards the Divine Feminine as well, that you've just kind of surrendered to how these feelings are. It just is what it is. But the problem with this surrender is that it's not igniting action. The emotion has been acknowledged, but it's not igniting action. And it's like this person doesn't know if they have the strength to be able to come towards you unless they feel like they have your support in some way. It's like they want that soft landing. They want that heart space to catch them. They know that you see things from a different perspective than they do in this present moment. So right now they're afraid. They're afraid to reach out to you. But at last they've seen the light, and it's through the dream realm. Here, these two wolves that are howling at the same moon. I feel like this person thinks a lot about you during the holidays for some reason. And that could mean that there's a birthday surrounding a holiday, or just these special moments when we have connection with others. They wish that you were there. Advice from a friend, dog barking. A goal-oriented person I just heard. Do not back down from opposition. Show strength and fortitude. So some stubbornness. But also feeling kind of yoked. Feeling like they're being held back. How do they currently feel for pile number 2, please? But they've got new creative ideas, new ventures, and a fresh start. And they are focused on that. They do want an opportunity to talk to you. They do want an opportunity, and they feel like eventually they're going to get it. And they almost feel like there's a purpose to your connection, and that's what's going to drive the reconnection, or that's what's going to drive the reunion here. We do have here new broom, new attitude for those that are in other connections or that are stuck in commitment cycles. Because they're not being honest about their feelings for you either. They're allowing it to maintain this fantasy. But we do have hard work ahead. And we have the harp, great happiness. Whenever I see the harp, I do think about Mickey Mouse, and I think about that scene where he goes up into the clouds to fight the giant or to get the harp woman back. I always think about the harp being in the left breast pocket right near the heartscape, and that's what this person is feeling. They're hiding their feelings for you inside of their heartscape right now. But you bring them happiness. You bring them happiness. You are kind of their escape, their fantastical escape, so to speak. And it says here they're waiting for a news package or letter. But they definitely feel the spiritual love between the two of you. How do they currently feel, please, about pile number 2? They've unrequited. They are convincing themselves, again, lying to themselves when they do so. It just gives them a reason to procrastinate, but they're telling themselves that you don't feel the same way. That is unrequited, that they love you, but that you don't feel the same way. Not recognizing that one conversation could solve that uncertainty. Stay optimistic about your love life. Positive thinking will bring you romance, but that's what they sometimes struggle to do. They try to, but they struggle with it. And separation, time apart from your partner, is on the horizon. So very much focused on the separation. But we're being asked to keep an open mind because your soulmate may differ from your usual type or expectations. And whatever they've invested in this in between, or in this disconnect, in this no contact period, it hasn't been as emotionally fulfilling as they thought it would be. And they wonder if perhaps you are the key to that. You are the key to more satisfaction, to more happiness. I do want to be more than just your friend. How are they currently feeling in this present moment, please? And I remember every detail of that day. They're so nostalgic when it comes to you. And they've spent so much time recollecting the past or recollecting the past. I'm starting to understand our connection. But I really wish that things could be different in the present moment. Sometimes I stay awake thinking about you, and we will be together again. And that is the fantasy. They fantasize about being together with you. I am grateful for the spiritual lesson is on the back of that deck. So let's ask Spirit about the future of this connection. Will this person reach out to pile number 2, please? What does the future hold in this connection? Will pile number 2's person reach out to them? I feel like they're making a plan, but it's like they're setting their course. We have the Knight of Cups. They've grown too. They're talking about growth. The Knight of Cups has turned into this King of Cups. So in the past, if they are a father now, they may not have been a father when you knew them in the past. So they know that they've shifted and matured in some way. There's the Tower. And they are concerned about the effect that reaching out to you will have. It could create permanent change. Page of Swords. I just saw the High Priestess as well. And I saw the Five of Swords. They're talking about conflict forming in the foundations that you have invested in or they have invested in. They're inspired to. We have the Four of Cups. We have the Two of Wands, and here's the Six of Pentacles. I do feel there could be a disconnect between them cultivating the plan and executing the plan, but I do feel like an opportunity could pop up where there's communication that opens up for the two of you in the future. It doesn't feel like the cycle is over for me. If they decide to come forward, though, I heard off to the races, because there could be natural consequences that come in. It will create epiphanies between the two of you. There will suddenly be no unsure energy. We will have complete clarity, but with that complete clarity will be prompts towards movement. And I do feel like there is a certain amount of hesitation to charge right forward. And so I do feel like there's going to be further contact for you, pile 2. Spirit says it's going to kind of pop up suddenly out of the blue when you're not expecting it. In fact, you're going to be surprised or really shocked when it pops up. And also it's going to eradicate the uncertainty, but also kind of present a whole new set of challenges perhaps for the two of you, which this person or yourself may feel sort of helpless to combat or to overcome in some way. So there is information that's going to be popping in online, and maybe even a flirtation cycle that opens up with this person in the future as well. Let's ask Spirit about the time frame here. Now this is a collective time frame, so please take it as it resonates to your situation. The Magician. I just saw the Five of Cups. For someone, it's as little perhaps as 5 months away. I just saw the Three of Wands. We have the Justice coming out in reversed. So they want you to kind of eradicate your expectation of the time frame. For someone watching, it could be as close as 5 months away, but because we are at the mercy of this person's awareness and clarity, the Justice here talks about unfair situations. So even when the communication comes up, it's like this, it's like it's not fair. It's like we finally have clarity, we finally know how each other feels, but the obstacles of our position that we went into willingly, maybe at home or at work, are what's getting in the way now. So it just doesn't feel like a fair situation. But Spirit is indicating that for someone watching, it could be as little as 5 months from now. Let's get a charm bowl, please, for pile number 2. 10 of Pentacles, 4 of Cups, 7 of Wands reversed. 4 of Cups is also reversed. Now, when I see the 7 of Wands like this, I do think about somebody who doesn't necessarily know if the risk is worth the reward. It's like there's boundaries, and it's like somebody who, even after the communication opens up, there's boundaries that have to be maintained because of perhaps commitment cycles or job requirements. And so because of that, they feel helpless. That's where the 4 of Cups comes in. But your 4 of Cups in the bowl is reversed, which means we can come up with a new outlook or some type of new practical approach so that we can find the determination to power through those obstacles. So even when the new obstacles present themselves, it's not the end of the line. It doesn't have to be the end of the story. But if we think we can, we will. If we think we can't, we won't even try. In the charm bowl today, ooh, we got a little pinch. I'll get another little pinch for you. In the charm bowl today, we have kiss. We have attraction. You may not have ever even kissed this person. We also have the Star of Aquarius and Hanged Man reversed. So feeling a little bit like a victim. Feeling like a traitor. We have here mourning the Divine Feminine and thinking very highly about her. But there's a temptation surrounding her. Aries, we have the letter I, and we have a forget-me-not with the crescent moon with the fairy. Secretly wishing for something that we're not sure is available to us. All right, pile number 2, that's what I have for you today. I hope it resonates with you. If it does, drop your comment below for a chance to win a free reading with me. Check out my link below for Etsy for a personal reading, and I hope that you come back here for a visit at the Tarot Cottage, and I hope that you have a beautiful day. Hello, pile 3. You are drawn to the orange flower or to the Chariot, and this is your reading. What is the person on your mind's current feelings for you, and are they going to reach out to you in this no contact situation? The Chariot here, you can see, is Cruella de Vil, and it's like she's being driven crazy, literally. And there's something perhaps even cruel about the disconnect, or you feel like they're being cruel by holding back, and it's just driving you nuts. Like, just their actions are driving you a little bit crazy. It's making you question everything. It's making you feel emotionally imbalanced, perhaps, as well. And you wonder if they're doing it intentionally in some way. So let's take a look here at their current feelings in the present. How do they currently feel about pile number 3, please? What are their current feelings for pile number 3, please? The Tower. You saw the 7 of Wands, the 7 of Swords. Wheel of Fortune. The 10 of Swords. How do they currently feel, please? The Knight of Swords. And we have the Hierophant. Back of the deck is the Temperance. And we have the 4 of Swords. There is something sort of defensive about this person that's coming in today regarding their feelings towards you. It's like they're ready to defend themselves or something. It's like they're trying to avoid that. They're trying to avoid the upheaval that they caused you. It's like they're trying to skirt away unbothered or unaffected. I don't feel like that's going to happen for them because they don't see the consequence that's waiting for them yet. But it does feel like they think that there's a permanent ending here. That there is something about this person being really transfixed by you in the past, being really focused upon you, but some of that empowerment, some of that truth, they've impaled themselves on that beach. And they keep talking about putting themselves in this position. Like, this Knight of Swords perhaps has a lot more that needs to be said or acted upon, but they're trying to convince themselves that they've already wrecked everything, or it's already permanently damaged, that there's nothing that could be done. But the truth is that I don't feel like this person has completely achieved their full spectrum yet. I don't think that they've really achieved the reality of the 3D situation yet. Because right now they're operating from this 10 of Swords in the present, and this is not, it's impossible for us to make any type of objectable defense for ourselves or a plan of action for ourselves when we are impaled on that beach. So this could mean that they're in a really dark place right now, or that it's like always the darkest before the dawn. Because they're still defensive and the healing hasn't completely taken place yet for them. Or they're not allowing it. That's what it feels like most closely aligned with, is that they're not allowing the healing in. Sometimes the Knight of Swords will try to bypass that. He'll try to rush through it. Queen of Swords. And they're convincing themselves that you don't want to hear from them, or that you'll bite their head off, or King of Cups. So they're purposefully really, really trying to turn their back on the true wave of emotion that they have so that they can feel empowered. They're not actually facing empowerment. You can see that there's a red sailboat in behind. To be able to face empowerment, they'd have to turn around and face their emotion. But that's what they are trying to refuse to do right now. This person has created a reality for you that does sting and that does hurt a lot. The Chariot. And I feel like they don't want that to be revealed to them. Like they're showing me the sphinxes now, being kind of covered in sand, covered in quicksand even. And the spirit doesn't want you to put all of your eggs in this person's basket, because it may be sort of like building your dreams in the sand, so to speak. Emotionally, this person's not very balanced, or they're kind of being pulled in different arenas when it comes to you. But the emotion that they settle on is release or loss. I'm not saying that it's not an over emotional response to pain, but they may be relating the pain on how it affects them the most. We have the Three of Pentacles. We have the King of Swords. And they think that they're acting logically, and they don't recognize that they're actually operating from a place of fear in this present moment. That this connection between the two of you has actually brought your person to a benchmark of failure, but they aren't acknowledging that in the present moment here. I do feel like they sometimes, and it's not always, but I feel like they sometimes peek in at you on your social media. It's not permanent, it's not all the time, but they sometimes peek in just to make sure that there's still something there between the two of you, or just to make sure you're still where they left you, so to speak. We have the Page of Wands. Now, what is brewing for them in the future, and it hasn't really they haven't tapped into it yet, is in order for them to bypass some of this truth and the reality and then having to deal with it, they sometimes allow themselves to go back to curiosity about you. That's when they start to peek in online for you. There is a thirst and attraction that does drive them. The Spirit is calling this person a little bit emotionally ill-equipped right now. They are a work in progress. They never want to throw anybody under the bus in their own pathway towards enlightenment, but this person's a little bit emotionally ill-equipped in this moment. We have the Hermit, and we have the Nine of Wands with the Five of Wands. And they're kind of holding on to this restless mentality of self-preservation, holding on to the doubt within themselves. And they've definitely retreated here because they're afraid. They wouldn't admit that. They wouldn't admit the fear, but they've retreated because they're afraid. They do think about you often, but it's like it creates a bit of a defensiveness. It's like they have a bit of a chip on their shoulder. They don't like the idea of you with other people either. And that's why they check in on you online. They're curious about, like, have you moved on? Are you moving forward? Have you released them? They don't like the idea of that. That kind of frustrates them. It triggers them in some way to think of you with other people, even though they don't really have the right to feel that way. That does seem to be where some of their emotion becomes overwhelmed. And the truth is that if they create this for you, if they make you feel uncertain and uneasy, the reasons why they hand that over to you is because that's actually what's going on inside of them. How do they currently feel, please? About pile 3. Amethyst, transformation, certainty, and confidence, and trying to heal, trying to highlight healing. I'm just going to slide that under there so we don't get in trouble with YouTube. It's like they're trying to hold on to their own empowerment, because I think of the purple and the amethyst, and they're trying to state their sovereignty. But they can't state true sovereignty until they allow themselves to go through the cycles of being vulnerable to become the King of Cups, or to be really intentionally smart and creative to become the King of Swords. Leading by example. We also have here eternal dance. Movement, wheel of life, and the path of least resistance. And that's what Spirit says is this person is operating from. They think that that's clarity. They think it's logical to apply the force towards you, that they are, but it's not true logic, because they are actually trying to avoid any hard work that they have to do. So they're taking this path of least resistance here. We have a hidden gift, sadness, an ending, and a new beginning. And here in this moment, they haven't completely tapped into the nature of the lesson of this connection. And so they're accepting the lumps, so to speak, in the present moment. But the truth is that they haven't hit the pain cycle yet, because they haven't allowed themselves to hit the pain cycle yet. So they think that they're just kind of, the ending that brings a new beginning. They're bypassing everything, but they haven't actually hit the ramifications of their actions. What are their thoughts in relation to pile number 3, please, and their current feelings? Seven of Swords, let me hold you. So still very attracted to you, really physically curious about you and what you're up to, but not being honest with themselves or others about their desires. There is someone else. So they may have moved on into other timelines, but they're keeping themselves hidden there. They're lying about how they truly feel. We have you are wrong. I never imagined so much perfection. And ultimately, these are some of the thoughts that go through their mind. They do sometimes get emotionally overwhelmed when it comes to the loss of you with this Ten of Swords. They definitely do. It throws them off balance. But as soon as they feel that, they try to get back on track. They try to avoid and eliminate that distraction because they feel like it slows them down to the momentum of healing. There's also an acknowledgement of your perfection and of how you work on yourself. Maybe you go to the gym, you carry yourself very well. And I am addicted to you. But my ego has all of my strength right now, and I wish that I could talk to you. So let's ask Spirit about that. For pile number 3, please, Spirit, is this person going to reach out to pile number 3? Will they reach out? Ooh. I feel like the Divine Feminine has reached out multiple times already. There's this feeling about being the chaser or being a leader here. And then maybe being ignored, some of those messages being ignored. Are they going to reach out? We have the Devil. Five of Pentacles. The Ten of Pentacles. They're showing me the greyhound, and now they're showing the greyhound chasing a rabbit around the track. And they're highlighting this Page of Wands. So if anything's going to prompt this person to act towards you, pile 3, it's going to be this fire. But they're also talking about sort of being in a loop and not being able to get out of that loop. So perhaps going back into karmic loops with this person if they're prompted to act. They're also talking here about commitment cycles and perhaps having a lot to lose in regards to attachments. We have the Ten of Swords. And we have the Star. Back of the deck is the Four of Pentacles, and we have the Ten of Wands. For some, I do feel like the cycle might continue energetically. But I feel like this person will hesitate to reach out, and I feel like the Divine Feminine might be the aggressor here and might be reaching out consistently, but with little to no regard in some way. It might, again, drive you crazy, but Spirit doesn't want you to internalize this. They are encouraging the Divine Feminine, specifically Aquarius energy, to start the healing process, and they are asking as part of that healing process for empathy, forgiveness, not necessarily for the other person, but so that you can execute that healing process for yourself. So they aren't indicating, again, I feel like if anything's going to prompt this person, it's going to be the fire, the attraction, the desire to be with you intimately. But I also feel like they have a lot to lose. And so our expectations may not be matched here. Let's get a charm bowl, please, for pile number 3. Advice for pile number 3 for the Divine Feminine. The Lovers, the Seven of Cups, and the King of Swords. Aquarius, Libra, Gemini, specifically Gemini energy here. We have the Seven of Cups, and they're talking here about unrealistic expectations, somebody holding on to unrealistic expectations in relation to connections and relationships, and how this King of Swords is kind of maintaining a cold front in some way because perhaps of other relationships. And Spirit says we have to look above everything that we're being shown to see the discernible truth surrounding their feelings. But there could be unrealistic expectations associated with new connection here because of the presence of other relationships. We have here cheesecake. I always think about getting together with friends with the cheesecake. We have V, S, and we have A. We have live and attraction for the Divine Feminine, and we also have the Four of Wands and the acoustic pick. I do think about twin flame prompts. So this person could have been a twin flame prompt that was trying to propel you forward towards healing cycles and towards further connections with others. And they're talking about friendships as well. All right, pile number 3, that's what I have for you today. I hope it resonates with you. If it does, drop your comment below for a chance to win a reading. Be sure to check out my link for Etsy for a personal reading as well. And be sure to hit your notification bell if you do drop a comment below so that I can notify you if you're chosen the winner for the free reading. But I hope that you come back here and visit me at the Tarot Cottage, and I hope that you have a beautiful day.